Welcome back to Champion News Talk Radio, brought to you by championnews.net. This is Carol Parisi. Our founder, Jack Roser, and myself have Rick Pere with us. And Jack, before the break, you were talking about schools and guns.
Oh, yeah.
And Rick, you know what? There's two things. There's madrasas.
Let me finish that, because I know where you're going with the guns, and that's good. And that ought to stand alone here.
But there are madrasas, which are schools of indoctrination,
Let me speak to our own schools.
Okay.
What has happened with our schools is that they have chased religion out of the schools entirely.
But they're allowing Islam in the schools. We have around Lake High School particularly that's allowing Islamic students that have had to leave other schools because of problems they've had. And particularly there are two young men that were in Round Lake High School here a while back. One of them was actually a supporter of the Taliban.
Sure, because that's history, and maybe some mention belongs in, people should learn. But they're excluding the history of the United States from the schoolrooms that are supported by our taxes. They have perverted the education of people in this country. They ought to be extolling the dimensions of the morality of the United States, which is being picked up by the Tea Party people. They want to go back to our principles that made this a great country. And so our schools should be teaching, but the schools are controlled by this damned amorphous liberal bunch of junk and run by the unions. Our schools are totally run by the unions, and we're getting a bunch of socialist crap in our own public schools. And the side that built this country to greatness is being suppressed. Let me say this. Here in Illinois, you've got a good example of how the unions have subverted everything that they touch, because they take $132 million a year in dues away from the teachers in the K-12 system. $132 million. That means every election cycle there's $264 million they get, according to the Beck decision. 80% of that is nothing but political work. So, and it's supposed to go under the Beck decision. That money should go back to the teachers. We will be helping the teachers get their money back that has been improperly taken from the teachers. Teachers aren't at fault. It's the unions that are running the school system. That $132 million a year has subverted the legislature and provided money for the Democratic people that are running it, Madigan and his daughter particularly, and they're running this whole thing.
And henceforth the problem with our
that has
pensions.
corrupted. That has corrupted the whole system, and they have raised the salaries of the top people and the pensions. That has bankrupted the state of Illinois. So that money that they took from the teachers has caused, by the change in the pension system and the spending of all kinds, it has bankrupted the state of Illinois. And pensions alone were $60 to $200 billion in the hole. Take your pick on how deep it is. So that's what's going on, is these people are ruining the system here in Illinois.
No, the
and it's
government's
been
even
done with the money from the schools, has not only ruined the education of the kids. I'll tell you, the people we interview from our schools on jobs, and I've built 4 companies. I've hired a lot of people.
Well, the government's even trying to make it illegal for us to homeschool our children.
They have ruined the education of the children, and they have also bankrupted, and they've had enough money left over to corrupt the entire politics of the state of Illinois, and that's why Illinois is the deepest in corruption of any of the states, and also the deepest in debt, and you can attribute it all to the stinking so-called education unions of the K-12 system.
I thought we were finished with the rant a lot earlier.
You know what? I will say one thing. I am hearing your passion, Jack, is getting our schools, getting our kids educated at a very good cost effectiveness. I get that. But what I'm hearing here in Illinois, we have our teachers' pension system. Then also in Illinois, are there madrasas here?
Yes, there are.
This is the Muslim...
Madrasas where they're educating Islamic children and actually fomenting the hatred.
That's, I subscribe to what you're saying.
So how does the average American, the average Joe that just wants to live their life, being pulled by our Illinois teachers unions that are bankrupting our state or have already bankrupted our state. And then we have this creeping radical Islam that's trying to abuse our laws. What do we do?
You have to be aware of your surroundings. You have to be aware of things that don't appear to be right. If you have somebody who is not a surveyor, somebody who is not in a business attire garb setup, and he's taking measurements of a bridge, or he's trying to take photographs of your water supply source or your sanitation source, your water treatment facilities, of airports, if you think something doesn't look right, report it.
Always.
Always. The
report
problem
it.
is people don't want to get involved. In 1999, a group of Middle Eastern individuals in Milwaukee at the Air Force Base there on College Avenue was captured taking photographs of the base. And when the federal agencies involved developed their film, they found photographs of every major reserve and active military installation throughout the entire Midwest.
It's frightening. There's going to be more when we come back after the break. We're going to talk about our Second Amendment rights because that's a great way to defend ourselves. Stay with us. Don't go away. We'll be right back.